Okay, getting some links. Several people have sent me the same link to a David Icke video, and a lot of people have even think that I buy into a lot of things that David Icke says. What I've been saying all along is everything you believe to be true is dead, dead wrong. David Icke is kind of pointing it out, but he still hasn't recognized it. Ironically, a lot more truth would be unfolded to him if he actually reads the books he recommends you read. I don't know if the link is still on his website, but he has recommended that everybody read Holodynamics. So that means he has read it, but or knows it's out there, but he hasn't followed anything that's inside that book. But you can tell he's kind of partially doing it, but not. And one of my main concerns with David Icke is, while he's saying that we're all being hypnotized, guess what? David Icke is hypnotizing you as well, and you don't even know it yet. And it's just that he hasn't woken up yet. And as soon as David Icke wakes up to his own shit, then we'll see what's going on. But he's kind of saying that everything is like a holographic game. So every single thing that David Icke is experiencing is something he's creating, and he doesn't even realize it yet. But he needs this game to play out so he can sell a ton of books and get really rich and be that corporate world that he pretends to hate. If he really, really was concerned about it, he'd be giving his shit away free and not be so concerned with earning as much profit as he's earning. He also has arthritis. Arthritis is you have receptors that receive, I'm going to talk in general terms, so anybody that's really heavy scientific and want the technical terms, go read your own friggin' books and see how I'm talking in general terms. It's like we have to dumb down a lot of stuff so we all can understand it. And as soon as it was dumbed down for me to understand, makes a lot of sense. So it's like, try proving this one wrong. But you have receptors that receive proteins and peptides, which basically means you have receptors receiving information. And so they are like claws that, that cling on. The peptides and proteins go into it and lock into them. Now, every time you have the same thought, it breaks this down to the point where it's, this part that breaks down, the receptor that breaks down because it's hearing the same pounding message over and over and over again, creates arthritis. It actually creates bone problems. So anytime you see anybody with arthritis, it's like, you know what, you might want to change your mind about something. You're replaying the same message over and over and over again. And a lot of times you'll see this with older people, and the typical statement they make is, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's a bullshit lie that, you just don't want to change. You just don't want to do what's right. You've got this rule. My father used to use that rule all the time. When he was a lot younger, when he was like in his 30s, he started, you can't change an old dog. And it's like, so he pictured himself really old when he was in his 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. Like, he had that same rule all his life. So it's like, you can't change a baby, I guess. So it's just an insane rule that people use to say, have the same belief that justifies their same negative behaviors all the time. And it will cause arthritis. It will cause a lot of heart problems. David Icke definitely has some arthritis going on. You can see his hands. He can cure all of that, wild as that may sound, but you can reverse it. And this is something that the medical world doesn't want you to know. I've seen it in my own personal life. My joints were deteriorating, like gone, and they've come back. And I'm in the process of, the muscle now needs to be rebuilt because I had to calm down the muscles from the fight-flight, which is fibromyalgia, which the fibromyalgia is kind of gone as long as I live in a peaceful world. If I have to fight-flight, then the muscle problem will come back, but it doesn't cause me any problems. My bird is talking away in the other room. But the main thing with David Icke that he needs to wake up to, that's more important, is he is saying that the answer to everything is unconditional love. And while he's saying that the answer is unconditional love, he's got an enemy there, that he wants everybody to have an enemy. And it's these elites, and that's influencing everybody to have enemies. And while you have an enemy, you're not forming that peace table. Same thing like with Oprah. Like, I can be down on that girl for so long, and you know what? She won't even read anything I got to say. She won't hear anything anybody's got to say if we're constantly telling her how wrong she is. But she freaking owns a network. We're all programmed with networking, and I really truly believe she wants to do the right thing. She just doesn't know how to do the right thing. So it isn't so much that you need to constantly focus on there's an enemy. It's a matter of how can you manipulate your enemy to do the right thing? How can you be smarter than your enemy? And a lot of it, first of all, comes with unconditional love. When you can see the full potential of yourself, and see the full potential of somebody else that you think is your enemy, then your minds will be at one. And that's when you can have more of a productive conversation. That's when you can actually get everybody doing what is right, because everybody at the end of the day wants to do what's right. We're all fucked up, even these elites. But, you know, to let somebody control us when we don't want to be controlled, but yet we're constantly looking for another leader to control us, like, that is the insane game. It's self-control. Use your own self-control. Find out what's right and wrong in your own friggin' life instead of waiting for somebody else to save you and tell you what to do, because you ain't going to like what they tell you what to do, because it's going to be what they want you to do and never about what you want to do, because nobody's listening to each other. And the leaders, as soon as they become a leader, they think that they know it all, which is why I don't ever want to be a leader, because as soon as I fall into that little trap, I will think I know it all. So that's one of the signs that I've seen with genius and insanity, is you can be a genius, the most genius person on the planet, but if you think you know it all with your genius going on, there's no way you're ever going to receive any information to find that 1% that you possibly could be wrong about. Generally, you're going to be right if you're living a really healthy life. If your life is perfectly healthy, then you're on your right track. I ain't there yet. I'm still getting there. I ain't no leader. I ain't perfect, but I'm a work in progress just the same as everybody else. And if I am not perfect yet, I can't expect perfection out of these leaders. How can I? You know, like, so I do have an unconditional love. I do have an understanding that they're just as lost as we are. Like, if you've been programmed to believe a lie, do you not think the ones that are at the top are programmed to believe a lie, and programmed even stronger? So it is, you know, I'm waiting for the day that David Icke wakes up to the concept that he is manipulating the masses with the way he's earning his living. He is just the same as all of these elites. Although he does have 90% truth, there's still 10% lie. And he's saying it. He says the answer is unconditional love, but he has an awful lot of hate in his heart, so he's got no unconditional love yet. When he figures that one out, he might be worth listening to, because he does say an awful lot that I happen to agree with, but I disagree with the 10%. Same with all Bibles. There's 10% lies in there. Anyways, food for thought. I'll put a link below. You can check out his latest video. Peace out.